Welcome to another South Dakota Varsity Sports update, and we are over halfway through the season in the South Dakota high school basketball year, and that means teams are starting to get into their groove for a playoff push. And one of those milestone markers that we cross every year at about this time is the Hansen Classic. And that's where I was last Saturday in Mitchell, South Dakota at the world's only Corn Palace to see some of the best teams from Class A and Class B duke it out for some mid-season battle. Time to recap the 37th annual Boys Hanson Classic. And last Saturday at the world's only Corn Palace, some of the best teams from Class A and Class B stepped on the floor and played what was like a state tournament feel to it in the middle of the season. And we started out at 9 o'clock in the morning with two very good teams. Irene Wakanda took on Castlewood. Irene Wakanda outlasted Castlewood. It was close throughout the game. Trey King just did Trey King things, putting up 28 points and shot the lights out, carrying the Eagles to a victory. Castlewood had a nice performance as well. Caden Ing, 21 points, and Brandon Beneke, 16 rebounds. Nice way to start this classic off. Second game of the day, didn't get highlights of it, but you can imagine how this went. Flandre took on Leola Frederick. Flandre had the lead pretty much throughout the game, and Leola Frederick kept it close, but too much Connor LeBrun. Connor LeBrun, 9 of 19 from the field, 26 points, leading the way for Flandre in this one. Rapid City Christian taking on Parker, and these two teams just outside of the top 5 in Class A, both having solid seasons. Let's start it off with some hot shooting, and that was the theme for Rapid City Christian as the Comets were hitting from outside. There's Ethan Whip with a nice jump shot from the outside. Then David Schmagel cuts the lead to 6 with a three-pointer. 5 minutes to go. Sam Schlebach keeps it going, 3 of his 17 points. The lead just 3 for Parker. Time to get going, and Trey Christensen responds for the Pheasants. Cuts to the hoop and scores. Camden Vilas, the 6'9 senior, gets it done. One off the glass. It's 61-54, and they would close it out from there. 69-59 win. Here is their coach, Lance Friesen, on the big midseason win.
Great game. Both teams came out and played really hard. Rapid City Christian's a great opponent, good athletes. They shot the ball really well today. We took care of the basketball, which is key for us, and rebounded and executed, and we're pretty efficient on offense so we could get the win. Well, we have a great post player in Camden Vilas that requires double teams, or he almost always can convert at a high percentage. We move the ball well. We play well together. When we're talking and rebounding, we can be a really good defensive team to go with that.
A couple of great teams in Class B. Hansen coming in with just the one loss. Colome having a season where they feel like they can make it all the way to state if things go their way. And early on, the lead belonged to Hansen because they hit the offensive boards. Hayden Baumuller gets the putback to go, and then Riley Ferry does the same thing. 17 offensive rebounds for Hansen, definitely a key in this game. Then the steal by Reggie Slaba. He comes all the way down the court and makes the score. They're up 17-14. Let's move to the second half now, where Calvin Ringing Shield downs a three-pointer. They pull within 5. Colome hanging around in this one. Leighton Tiemann strong to the hoop. They would pull within 4. Nice patience on that hoop. Now just 3 seconds left in the game. All Hansen has to do is inbound it to steal the three-point win. They did. The shot didn't go down. It didn't matter. They had a 3-point lead, inbounded it, and ran out those last 3 seconds to get the victory. Big win for the Hansen Beavers, who like I said, only have one loss on the season. They are definitely getting it done. Very distributed scoring tonight for Hansen. 3 or 4 guys bearing the scoring load for them, and Colome, on the other hand, suffers their 3rd loss of the season, but they hung tough. And their senior, one of their leaders, Jackson Kinzer, talked to us after the game.
Yeah, it shows us where we are, playing good teams. Pretty much every team here is really good, and we lost this one, so it's kind of upsetting, but it shows us where we are.
So coming off of a low-scoring Class B game, we move to a very high-scoring Class A game. Sioux Valley, Roncalli, very evenly matched, and it was Kelton Vincent getting things started for Sioux Valley, the three-pointer from the corner. Roncalli comes back. Graydon Embry with the offensive rebound on the long 3, gets it to go. Sioux Valley was up 4 going into halftime. Second half, things get pretty crazy, and Max Reed has something to do with it. He gets it going from three-point land. There's one of his 4 threes on the day. They retake the lead with that one. Max Nielsen for Sioux Valley caught fire in the third quarter. He keeps taking it to the hoop and finding a way to put it down. 1 in a row, 2 in a row, 3 in a row. Max Nielsen had 34 on the day to get things started. Then Max Reed finds his range from the corner again. Ryan Schuster had a big day for Sioux Valley, gets the and one. He would miss his three-point chance, but Sioux Valley still up 5 at this point. And then Max Reed unloads again from 3, closes it to a 2-point game, and out of the timeout, they're down by 2. Graydon Embry would tie the game on a tough hoop round the hoop, and now we're down to a tie ball game at this point. There was a foul that would put the Cavs up 82-81, and then on the last chance, Sioux Valley has a chance to win it, but both teams shot the ball very well. The 1-point victory for Roncalli as they escape against Sioux Valley. But like I said, both teams shot over 60% in this game. It was one heck of a Class A battle. Time to move to some of the ranked teams that were playing late in the day at the Hansen Classic. Aberdeen Christian, number 5 in the Class B poll at the time, taking on Viborg Hurley with just 1 loss in the season. And Brody Sherman gets Viborg Hurley going early with the big three-pointer. More from long range. Chase Mason takes one, and you got to get serious about this Viborg Hurley team. Aberdeen Christian, Nehemiah Becker hits a 3, keeps it close. Viborg Hurley up 21-13 after Shane Anderson hits that turnaround. Jackson Becker with a good day, and Aberdeen Christian would go up 38-37 at half as they get another three-pointer from Brett Eckinger. Big second half for Viborg Hurley, though, and they would topple the ranked Aberdeen Christian team 71-60. Brody Sherman with a big day in the field, 26 points, 5 assists for the Viborg Hurley Cougars, and they have a chance to get ranked after beating a ranked team in the Hansen Classic. Our first battle of 2 ranked teams playing against each other in the Hansen Classic. Clark-Willow Lake, number 2 in the polls, taking on number 4, Timber Lake, and Jacob Prouty. He's good at that. He'll take the three-pointer. Isaac Kraft hangs and hits to come right back, and then Stone Burke gets rejected by Tucker Kraft coming down on the other side of the court on the break. Isaac Kraft gets one to go off the glass, and they take a 16-15 lead after 1. This thing was hot off the beginning. A big night for Prouty, hits a little floater in the second quarter, and at halftime, CWL up 37-20. More from Prouty. He had 21 on the night, so smooth on that jumper. And then Micah Burke hits one on the inside. He had a big night as well. And his cousin Stone Burke, 21 on the night for him, getting it done in the second half. They would pull away from Timberlake and take care of business against another ranked team. And as you see there, 2 players in 20 points for Clark-Willow Lake, and then Micah Burke also adding 15 points and 13 boards as they shut down Timber Lake, who suffers their second defeat of the season.
We really wanted to set the tone early defensively, not give up easy buckets, easy threes. Pepe's a great shooter, so is Harrison, so we had to get out there and make those guys contest some shots, and we really contested, I thought, Tucker Kraft down low too, and we kind of made things not so easy for him, and that's kind of our key. You know, we want to start defensively, and hopefully some shots fall of us offensively. You know, it's really important for us, you know, just to kind of see where we're at. Since our schedule is full of A teams, we never get to see some of the top B schools. So when we get to see the top B schools, it gives us that state tournament atmosphere, that what we might see if we get able to qualify for the state tournament.
Time for number 1 Bridgewater Emory to put their ranking up against the undefeated White River Tigers, coming in at number 3. Here's a look at Sawyer Schultz of Bridgewater Emory, and here's another look at Schultz. Hits the 3, the long distance 3 to get things started, and then the baseline jumper. Fadeaway is good, and Jamin Aaron also converting on the drive to the hoop, but don't be fooled. It wasn't all Bridgewater Emory. White River makes a strong move in the first quarter. Isaiah Soros gets things going. Into halftime, Bridgewater Emory did lead 27-26. Luke Wells of White River, this was my first chance watching him this year. He was impressive. Isaiah Soros, also impressive. They'd build a 3-point lead on that hoop right there. And then Luke Wells hits one from the outside as they continue to build the lead in the second half. But Bridgewater Emery got things going as well. Jamin Aaron on the inside. Right before the end of the third quarter, though, the offensive glass worked by Luke Wells. Gets the and one right at the buzzer. They continue to build that lead. Tyson Iote puts White River up by 9 going into the fourth quarter. But the Huskies are not done. Carter Dye gets the big hoop off the glass. Jadis Morrison right there with the putback for White River, keeping them in it. But here's Chase Aaron with the steal and the dish to Jamin. Within 3:14 left in this game, this block by Sawyer Schultz, who gets things started on the other side, where Chase Aaron gets fouled, but he would make it a 2-point game at that point. 30 seconds left. Bridgewater Emery down by 3. It would come to free throws to salt this game away, and Bridgewater Emery goes down in defeat. White River claims the number 1 spot with that victory, and after the game, talked to Eldon Marshall, asked him if he thought he was the number 1 team in the state after that game. Beating the number 1 team, do you guys feel like the number 1 team in the state right now?
Yes, I do. I felt confident coming in. I thought, I think we're a little deeper. There's, of course, a lot of things we need to work on, just being smart and patient on the offensive end. And, but we did get in foul trouble there, but, we were able to get through it.
Number 1 T area taking on undefeated St. Thomas More in Class A. This one had great game written all over it. And the T Titans get started trying to put something on the board, but the steal and the reward for Ryder Kirsch. First 2 points of the game. They go up 2-0, but then an avalanche coming from the T Titans. Cade Stearns hits one from the corner. Cade Stearns hits the floater. Cade Stearns has this team rocking. Then Noah Friedel hits a jumper from the field. He's got things going in the second quarter. They went on a 20-0 run before it was stopped right here by Ryder Kirsch's putback, which broke that run up. Kirsch also hit from deep. They would actually pull this within 6 points at halftime. They really closed the gap. Here's another big shot from the corner from Grant Huber. It was 30-24 at half. Right here, Huber's shot closes out the half with a 5-2 run, and St. Thomas More is right back in this ball game. Hayden Casey, he gets the 3 to go. He's fouled on the shot. Ties it at 37 at that point. Hayden Casey helped his team get up 44-40 entering the fourth quarter, but then Caleb Joffer on the sweet dish by Mason Ritter gets it going. Then T up 2 after some free throws. Inside 20 seconds, T thinks that they got to stop, but it was just a timeout by St. Thomas More. That would set up the final play of the game. Down by 2, St. Thomas More inbounds it, and Noah Friedel comes up with a big steal and converts on the other end to take the clock down. And T Area finds a way to win the game after going through some struggles in this one. Stays at number 1 in the polls. A lot of fun watching all those ranked teams go at it, and I have a feeling there'll be some rematches from this Hansen Classic coming up in the playoffs in just 4 weeks. All right, let's move on to our game of the week. We had number 1 versus number 2, so T just got done beating the 3rd best team in the class, and then on Tuesday night had a date with the number 2 team in the class, Sioux Falls Christian, one of the best rivalries in Class A. Let's head on over to the Sioux Falls Christian gym, where the Chargers were hosting the number 1 team in all of Class A, and Noah Friedel got started off on fire. That is a familiar shot from Noah. He gets it going. Zach Whitty, a strong move for Sioux Falls Christian to keep it fairly close in the first quarter, 16-9 at the end of 1. But then Justin Hone with the little scoop and score. Beautiful move to the hoop by Justin Hone. Big night for him. And then more shooting from the outside. Here we go. T Area goes to Cade Stearns for the 3 ball. Big shot by him. And then more. Noah Friedel in the first half. 36-20. They take the lead on that move. More Noah Friedel right before halftime to put them up 38-24. He had 19 points in the first half. And folks, that's as close as this contest would get. In the second half, it was all T Area. Check out Justin Hone's steal, one of his 7 steals on the night, and glides in for the 2. T Area shot 55% in this game and absolutely dominated with the 73-50 win. After the game, we caught up with the Titans.
Intensity for sure. We came out tonight, we brought it the whole game. We played all 4 quarters. We all wanted to win. Saturday was kind of a wake-up call. Like, we can't come out lollygag and expect to win every game. We got to come out and play and show that we're the #1 team in the state for a reason.
When you get a crowd like this playing Sioux Falls Christian, we played these guys since 6th grade, so every time we play each other, it's a fun one, high scoring, and we wanted to bring everything out on the main stage tonight.
I thought we rebounded the ball well in the first half. I think they had a two rebound advantage, but all things, I was really happy with our first half. Second half was all about tempo and control for us. Hit some shots. We never really got into the bonus, I don't think, but the way we were driving the ball and finishing, I thought we did a pretty good job. Overall, I'm happy with the performance.
Time to hand out our weekly Midco SN game ball, and we'll start with girls basketball, where one of the best players in the state, just a junior at Sioux Falls Lincoln, had a breakout week. Morgan Hansen, the future USD Coyote, came up with a huge performance against Brandon Valley, one of the top teams in the class. They got the win. She went 24 points, 17 rebounds, and shot 10 for 16 from the field. And then she followed that up with a big game against Huron, where she went 7 of 10 from the field and put 15 points on the board. Huge week for Morgan Hansen. We're going to see a lot from her, not only this year, but next year, and then in the Summit League after that. Let's move on to the boys game ball, and this one was a tough decision. You had a few different contenders. Noah Friedel had a couple 20-point games. Connor Libis once again putting up some 30-point games. But the game ball winner this week goes to Luke Wells of White River. Yes, Luke Wells had a huge game to knock off the #1 team in Class B, Bridgewater Emory. The guy was unbelievable. 22 points from the field, another double-double, and he shot the ball perfectly from beyond the arc. 3 of 3, and those were clutch three-pointers. So a huge week. Congratulations to both Morgan Hansen and Luke Wells. And if you have any nominees ever for the Midco SN Game Ball, make sure to hit us up on social media. All right, let's move on to the basketball forecast. The best games coming up over the next 7 days. And we did a service for you to find out who had the best chance of winning these top games. And let's take a look at that planner right now. Let's start over here. Yankton taking on Roosevelt. That comes up in the Yankton gym. Yankton had 2 losses over the last couple of weeks. Another tough customer coming to town. 62% chance for Yankton on their home court. But that one could be better than some people think. Bridgewater Emory was the #1 team in the class. They lost their second game of the year, and they play against Hansen, an unranked team that only has 1 loss in the season. That should be good, but as you can see, Bridgewater Emory, the favorites in that one. Let's move over to some girls basketball. O'Gorman has a huge week in girls basketball. 2 times they're on this list as the #1 team. A very tough week. They're at home for both of those games, and they have a chance to get it done. And we talked about T area. Their schedule coming up is very difficult. They play Clark-Willow Lake, who some people voted as the #1 team in Class B, on Saturday in the NEC Big 12 Challenge coming up. And those are the top teams from each of those conferences. That should be really good. And then over on the end here, next Tuesday, Belle-Fourche. Yes, Belle-Fourche is favored to beat St. Thomas More in girls basketball. That hasn't happened in a long time, but as you can see, the model says it should be a very close game. That's just a few of the top games coming up in the basketball forecast. But let's leave you with some milestones that happened across the basketball landscape over the last week. 2 more players that we saw at the Hansen Classic went over the 1,000-point threshold. Braden Pepe of Timberlake not only went over 1,000 points at the Redfield Classic, but now is within about 80 points of the all-time school record. So congratulations to Braden. We caught up with him right after the game.
I have another goal is to make it to state and to hit the school record. Well, practice is the most thing. Practice a lot. You got to get in the gym a lot, work hard every day at practice. That's mostly it. That's what I did.
Congratulations to Braden, just a great shooter. And then Jackson Kinzer of Colome also going over the 1,000-point mark. He did it at the Hansen Classic. He didn't even know that he was over that mark, but we talked to him after the game as well.
I guess I didn't even know I was close, so I mean, it's pretty cool to be one of the guys that scored 1,000. Just one of the things that came, I never really cared about my personal self. I just wanted to win for the team, I guess.
So looking forward to a big week of high school basketball as we come down the stretch for that playoff push. Remember, send me any ideas you have to talk more about your team, and we will get it in on the Varsity Sports Update.